Okay, today we're talking about something from Apex. And what this is touted as is a valve that goes on your valve core that you already have, not a supplemental valve like a quick deflator, one of those, but this actually, you remove your valve stem, you screw this onto it, and this becomes the valve stem, the air up process and air down process. And what they say is it's like twice as fast as a standard air chuck, right? So my curiosity is it, because if this just screws onto the top of your air valve, that would be crazy, because one of the things that takes forever in overlanding and wheeling and, you know, all the crawling and all that stuff is air up, air down. It's if you put the time together that you air up and air down, if you do it properly, and when you are supposed to and when you're not supposed to, it would probably equate to at least a third of the trip. So anyway, for as cheap as it is, could it really make that much time? And that's what I want to know. So Apex Design, does your valve really speed it up that fast? I guess is the question. So let's take a look at these things. Okay, so here it is. Let's take a look at them. So I ordered 5 with the kit. So obviously if I change over to a spare, it's got the same valve system in it. The neat thing about it is it comes with a little tool that you use to put it on and tighten it, okay? So here it is. So this is it, okay? And you can see that that hole is like the size of the standard size of the hole that is in your L chuck already. So, and if you take off the top, it's again a standard valve core, right? Like, so what's the difference? The difference is under this, and I guess I got to show you by taking the cap off. But if you take the cap off, you'll notice that if you push this red dial up, all of a sudden it opens multiple valves around the side. So instead of you just air exiting here, air exits all the way around this thing, which I guess is the 3 times as fast as a regular chuck. So that being said, I can kind of understand now, because it's a huge hole. But if you think about it, if the only air is escaping is through here, it's going to take a while. But if it escapes all the way around the circumference of this, then you've got twice the airflow. And they're really well built. So this is what I say. Oh, Lord. And they got some really great caps, machined caps as well. What I think we do is I think basically when we put these things on, we do an air down test to see how fast we can air it down with a standard valve, right? Run a timer and then install one of these dudes and run a timer and see how much faster it is. Let's roll, man. It's all about speed today. Okay, so first we have a timing device, and then what I figured was kind of the easiest way to do it for non-exact science for what this is. Basically what I thought we'd do is we would basically just time them, right? So we'll use the standard air valve and we'll just put a screwdriver on it and something, hold it wide open, and we'll go both of them for 20 seconds. And then what we'll do is we'll stop the timer at 20 seconds, measure their air, and see where they're at pressure-wise. That's what I think is probably gonna be the most plausible way to do it, right? So let's get that. First of all, I am gonna show you this. So what I can't stand is just about every air gauge source is inaccurate. This dude right here, and I'm gonna show it to you guys really closely. It's from Jones Racing. Now it's super expensive, but Joe's Racing has perfected this thing to be incredibly accurate. And the reason why they did that is because it was developed for NHRA drag racing. And if you guys know anything about racing and stuff, the pressure in each tire from side to side has to be exactly the same. Reason being is if they take off and they have more or less pressure on one side or the other, it will steer the drag car that way. So I searched and searched and searched, because every time I would air the tires up and base it off the vehicle TPMS sensors, they would be this pressure. Based off the pressure at a gas gauge, it would be this pressure, or at a gas station gauge. If you get one of the little push-ons, if you went to, it was one pressure, and they were always so incredibly wrong. And is it an OCD? Yes, but I'm one of those guys that likes to see it 38, 38, 38, or whatever, 20, 20, 20. So I invested in this. So because it's so accurate, we will deem this the exact variable to go between the two of them, therefore to kind of hopefully mitigate any kind of strange raw anomalies that we should get. But it should be pretty simple. Run them at the same amount of pressure, let it go 20 seconds, and then at that point in time, hit the button and see where we're at, right? Let's go. Let's go. But first, I need to get something to press that valve with. First up in today's test is going to be the standard valve that comes on a car tire. So let's check the pressure. And it shows to be exactly 35, 36, 37, 38 and a quarter. So we're going to bring this down to 38. Okay, we're at 38 as we show right there. So that's going to be our starting pressure. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use this phone. I'm going to get a timer set up. Let's go to timer, cancel, timer, stopwatch, and we're going to set it in the wheel. And I'm basically going to hit this bad boy, and we're going to go 20 seconds, and I'm going to press this at the same time. So on your marks, get set, go. Ten seconds. Seconds. 20.4 seconds. So now, let's see what we got. Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? Wow. 3 pounds on the dot. So it let out 3 PSI. So it went from 38 PSI to 35 PSI. Impressive. I would have thought it'd have been less than that, but we'll see. So now let's get the apex out. Let's get the valve stem out of this. Let's get the apex valve installed and get an air source over here to air this back up and put in our 38 PSI. Here we go. Simple. So basically, there's not much extraction to these things. So you can see what it does is this screws down and up and over your valve core. And then that's what essentially allows it to be faster, because there's a process in this where you pull up this entire slip like I showed you earlier. So let's go ahead and get the old valve stem out, and then we'll get this in place, and then we'll air it back up. And then after that, we'll go ahead and run our valve test, right? So simple, you take this tool, go in here, you're gonna break that valve core loose, and it's gonna make a lot of noise. Unfortunately, it shot out. I didn't see where it went. So I'm going to put this on it, and I'm going to start screwing it in. Pretty simple. This guy right here fits over your valve core like this, only for this tool, and allows you to screw it right on. And I'll move my knee, and you can see you're just gonna treat it just like any other valve core. Now you can see no air is leaking out. So now what we'll do is we'll go ahead and go, I wish I could find that, but that's all right. Not a biggie, I have a box of them. Now we'll go ahead and improve or put the air back in this and then test it from there. So you can see it's real similar. The only thing is it's got that locking collar. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get this bad boy and I'm gonna try to put a little air in it. And I don't know how much we lost or what, so we'll have to figure that out with the gauge. So let's see what we got in there. Okay, so we're at just a little bit over 33 right now. Okay, so let's test this bad boy. You can see we are at 38 right there. Okay, so now let's get the phone set up and you guys will be able to see it. I think I zoomed in enough where you guys can actually see it a lot better. It's a lot clearer. The light's good in here right now. And so basically what I'm gonna do is see this red anodized stem, you pull that forward and that's what allows it to release air. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna attempt to pull it and set the timer at the same time and see what we get. Ready, set, go. Okay, so you can see that we're pretty close. That's 20.38, and last time we were at 20.40. So 0.2 of a second is I'm happy with, right? So now, what is your guess? What is your guess? What is your guess right now for what it's gonna do? Are you ready? Here we go. So it went from, wow, I'm gonna try to hold this for you guys to see. So it went from 38 to just under 30. So, oh my God. So, that's insane. So the difference in these from a standard valve stem core. This is all it is, okay? It screws onto the same core that you're using, but it just changes the way it exits, right? So the original valve stem in the tire, in 20.4 seconds, let out 3 PSI. In the same amount of time, 20.38 seconds, which is 0.2, the Apex quick valve let out almost 9 full PSI. So you can imagine that it just cut your air down time to nothing. And I will note one thing. When I was airing it back up, it went from 30 to almost 38 or 35 to 38 pounds in no time. So the air up time is twice as fast as well. So now your compressors are gonna last longer because they're not gonna get overheated. You're gonna wheel longer because it's not gonna be a pain in the butt to stop and air down, because airing down doesn't take a second and airing back up doesn't take a second either. So the clear winner today, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put his cap on right now, right? The clear winner today is the Apex valve. And for the price of these things, and I talked to them, just so you know, you can only get them in 4s, and I talked to them, and they created a part number so you can now order them in a set of 5 for your spare. So what I would say to you is, for the money, this is a great investment for all overlanders and all wheelers. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting me. Remember my Patreon, www.patreon.com/MaxOverland. And I appreciate you guys watching. See you next time.
Get on your feet, this side's to see.